McBride was an all-star for the 5th time in her career as Boston goes backdoor to Hull. Working on Williams. Hull gets it to go. And a foul.
Career high for you tonight. How'd that first half feel, especially with 18 and just 20 minutes of play?
I mean, it obviously feels good, I think, for me, just playing with confidence. We're missing people, so everyone's got to do a little bit extra, be a little bit more aggressive offensively. So that was my mindset going in, and obviously it feels good to see the ball go through the net.
The Indiana Fever were seconds away from a storybook ending, a miracle win built on the back of a player who wasn't even supposed to be the star. Lexi Hull was having the game of her life, shredding the Minnesota Lynx with a career-high 23 points. And for a moment, it looked like this battered, broken team might just pull off the impossible. But then, the entire night came crashing down in one brutal third quarter. The lead vanished, the momentum died. And by the final buzzer, the Fever hadn't just lost a game. They lost 2 more key players to a shockingly long injury list that already includes Caitlin Clark.
An all-star appearance was right here in Indianapolis back in July. Oh, looking inside for Boston. She will launch and knock down a 3. Lexi Hull's hit a pair. End of that game, but foul line continues to flummox Smith here this year. Here's Hull backdoor, puts on the brakes and lay it in. It's a Lexi Hull show.
This wasn't just a loss. It was a catastrophe that exposes the terrifying reality of their playoff hopes hanging by a thread. So what did Lexi Hull say after the game that reveals the true state of this team? And are the coaching decisions now costing them any chance of survival? If you support the Fever's fight through this nightmare season, let me know in the comments by typing "Stay Strong." Lexi Hull's performance wasn't just good. It was a revelation, a glimpse of a player finally seizing her moment under the brightest lights and the most intense pressure. On a night when Indiana's roster was stripped down to its absolute core, she delivered a stunning showing, dropping 23 points on 9 of 16 shooting, including 4 bombs from beyond the three-point line.
And in Chloe Bibby's absence, you'll likely see a lot of Turner on the floor here today as Lexi Hull launches and hits. It's a 3-point parade. Going in. Here is Hull. Look how aggressive Lexi Hull has been here in the first half. That was her 8th shot. Lexi Hull with all the confidence in the world. Petty, wide open. Oh, yes.
She logged nearly 37 minutes against a Minnesota team stacked with proven veterans, and she looked completely unfazed, stepping into every shot with a confidence we simply haven't seen from her before. This was more than just an outlier shooting night. This was a player determined to be more than a role player, hunting her shots, reading the defense with a veteran's IQ, and making sharp backdoor cuts that left the Lynx scrambling. She had 18 points by halftime, single-handedly carrying much of the Fever's offense when they were actually setting the tone. After the game, Hull explained her mindset with a calm honesty, stating she just had to read whatever the defense was giving, crediting her teammates for finding her on those clever cuts.
Lexi, did you come into tonight kind of expecting to play darn near the whole game just with the injury situation and the personnel available?
Damn, you played 37 minutes.
I mean, you played a lot too, Kels. What did you play? 35. I mean, yeah, we're down people, so gotta suck it up, play a little tired a few minutes, and take in those timeouts as best we can. But yeah, I mean, we're down people, so everyone's got to do a little more.
Yeah. For you offensively, was the plan to kind of try and get some looks inside early to get yourself going and then start working from the outside, or was that just kind of how the game set itself up?
Just to read the defense, you know. I think I got some really good passes on the back cuts, and that's a testament to my teammates, you know, finding me, but keep moving, just reading what.
But she also acknowledged the brutal reality, saying with the team so down on people, everyone's got to do a little more. They got to suck it up and play tired. Head coach Stephanie White noticed the seismic shift, praising Hull for being aggressive and for first time all season truly hunting her opportunities. A change in mindset that made all the difference. But the only reason Hull's heroic night was even necessary is because of the absolute nightmare unfolding on the Fever's injury report. The casualties have been piling up for weeks. A relentless wave of bad luck that has left this group barely holding a rotation together. Caitlin Clark, the face of the franchise, has been sidelined since mid-July with a right groin injury. Sophie Cunningham's year ended with a torn MCL that required surgery. Sydney Colson's season is over after a left ACL tear. And Ryan Howard was shut down completely because of a lingering foot issue. That's 4 critical rotation players gone before this game even tipped off.
Chloe Bibby, a late addition to the injury report. Just when did that injury happen, or do you know the severity at this point?
Felt something during pregame, and so holding her out as a precaution. We don't know anything, so hopefully we'll get some more information tomorrow when she can be seen.
Had she been dealing with any soreness or anything like that in previous days, the week leading up to tonight?
Yeah, I think everybody's dealing with soreness at this point in the year. But yeah, I had been dealing with a little bit of knee soreness, and again, just want to make sure that we're cautious and figure out what's going on before she gets out there.
But the horror show was just beginning. During pre-game warm-ups, forward Christy Wallace felt sudden soreness in her left knee and was held out at the very last second as a desperate precaution. Then, in the fourth quarter, veteran point guard Odyssey Sims, the only experienced ball handler left, exited the game and never returned, now awaiting further evaluation. Coach White could only give shaken answers after the game, admitting she had no idea what happened to Sims, only that she heard her say, "I need a sub." That sequence left Lexi Hull as the only regular wing left standing and forced the Fever to cobble together lineups from players who barely knew each other's names.
About Odyssey after I think she left the game and didn't return. Is she injured? What's up with that?
Yeah, no, we don't know anything yet. She's going to get evaluated tomorrow, so we'll see.
With regards to Odyssey, do you have any ideas of what it was she tweaked? Was it a groin or any?
I have no idea. I just heard her say I need a sub, and so.
The ripple effects of losing Wallace and Sims were instant and devastating. With them gone, the Fever had to hand heavy minutes to young guards and a player who had just walked in the door. When Sims called for that sub, Petty had to come in and essentially run the offense despite having only just joined the team on a 7-day hardship contract. Petty herself was only signed earlier this month, and Christy Wallace was another recent addition. This isn't a roster anymore. It's a mash unit. Possessions turned shaky and disjointed because the guards on the floor didn't have the comfort or familiarity to run the offensive sets cleanly. Head coach Stephanie White admitted they're trying to integrate 2 new point guards into the system in the middle of the playoff race, and the disconnection was painfully obvious.
40 minutes, how can you handle the wing without Chloe tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to do it by committee. Bree Turner can guard 5 positions, so she'll be out there defensively. We've got to try to manipulate lineups a little bit more to figure out who we can stretch the floor with. So probably on the floor at the same time as Didi in a lot of things that we do. But again, if it's not going to be space in the floor in the half court, we've got to be able to get our defense to create some offensive transition opportunities. That doesn't always have to be steals for scores, but we've got to get missed shots that allow us to get out, run out, and try to create some things in transition.
Plays that used to flow with precision now ended in rushed jumpers or unforced turnovers. The toll stretched the defense, too, with so many players logging extended, unfamiliar minutes. Legs got heavy, rotations were late, and Minnesota punished every single breakdown. The sense around the team is beyond fragile. It's a group living on a knife's edge, where every fresh injury feels like a final, crushing blow. For a stretch in the first half, however, the Fever felt alive in a way they haven't in weeks. Lexi Hull was drilling jumpers. The ball was moving, and the bench erupted after every make like they were on the verge of something special.
$18 for Hull. That is a...
This surge of hope was fueled by more than just Hull. Kelsey Mitchell once again played like the engine of this group, the undeniable leader. She led all scorers with 27 points, added 5 assists, and drilled 5 of 7 from deep, forcing Minnesota to account for every single trip across half court.
Managed everything so well, and not only the players resilient, but she's been resilient.
And so too is Kelsey Mitchell, who knocks down
in transition.
Austin and Carlton collide. No whistle either way.
Before the game, her teammates honor her immense value by wearing MVP Kelsey shirts during arrivals, a rare and powerful show of recognition for a true franchise cornerstone. Mitchell was genuinely moved afterward, saying, "They make me feel like I'm important to them and vice versa. That value means everything to me." Alongside them, Aaliyah Boston provided steady, anchoring presence inside, battling for 15 points and 6 rebounds across long stretches without any frontcourt help. And then came the surprise spark from newcomer Petty, who in her Fever debut scored 10 points and hit 3 of 4 from three-point range, showing an aggressiveness that drew immediate praise from the coaching staff.
Oh my goodness, I was taken back. It was fun. It was funny. I was very humbled. I was grateful for my group. I love the people I play with, and to know that they would go out their way to make something like that happen for me, it means a lot more than people know, because I have been here the longest. I have, everything that people talk about, I have been, and to know that my teammates kind of like see me as, I have value somewhere, and I feel like they make me feel like, I'm important to them and vice versa. And so that value means everything to me. And anybody knows me, I'm a loyal type person. And so I'm going to forever look at them like forever friends after something.
Together, these players formed a backbone, a reason to believe that maybe this team still had one more punch to throw. But that spark wasn't enough to cover the cracks. Everything that had been built so carefully in the first half evaporated into thin air the moment the third quarter began. The Fever had the lead, but the Minnesota Lynx blew the doors open with a vicious, demoralizing 32-7 run that completely erased all of Indiana's progress and flipped the game on its head in a matter of minutes.
First place in the league. The only team that has already clinched a spot in the playoffs, assuming there's others. And McBride just reads it and eats it up.
Mitchell launches and knocks down a three. It's Mitchell.
What Minnesota did was simple but brutally effective. They spread the floor, attacked with straight-line drives, and crashed the offensive glass with relentless purpose. Indiana, completely gassed and disorganized, had no answer. Their defensive rotations were a step slow, box-outs disappeared, and Aaliyah Boston was left stranded under the rim fighting multiple Lynx players by herself. Possession after possession, Minnesota got second-chance points and wide-open rhythm jumpers that systematically broke the Fever's spirit. This collapse wasn't an accident, it was a pattern.
Here's Boston backing her way inside, spins, fades, fires, and hits. Well, rebound a moment ago from Jessica Shepard. Third quarter, they are shooting 61% on the night. Boston pulls down the offensive rebound. And
this season has been filled with games where Indiana builds a strong first half lead only to see it completely vanish after halftime when opponents make adjustments and the Fever seemingly cannot counter. This is where the conversation turns sharply toward the sideline and head coach Stephanie White. Fans and analysts are asking the same frustrating question. Where are the adjustments? For the third quarter, the game plan seemed to vanish. The defensive coverage stayed stubbornly the same. The on-ball pressure was light and ineffective, and the Minnesota Lynx, a veteran team, took full and merciless advantage.
You mentioned just now how you guys want to make those lulls obviously not
shorter.
as bad. Just what can the team do on the floor? What can you guys as a coaching staff do in the moment to kind of break those up?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's timeouts. Some of it's substitution matchups, although we don't have a lot of those. And some of it's just attention to detail. I mean, championship teams, their attention to detail throughout the course of 40 minutes is there for the most part. And we're learning how to.
They executed simple, punishing actions, spreading the floor, attacking closeouts, and crashing the glass that the Fever had no answer for. It wasn't a mystery what was happening. It was a systematic breakdown that everyone watching could see unfolding in real time, yet the response from the sidelines seemed delayed, leaving players on an island to figure out themselves. To her credit, Coach White didn't shy away from the tough questions afterward. She was candid in her assessment, admitting there were clear and consistent breakdowns in personnel recognition on defense, and that a slew of turnovers acted as a critical turning point that fueled Minnesota's run.
It's their ass. Like, they battle every single game. And they just, it's a couple minutes here and there. You got to play a 40-minute game. But this is a special group of women, man, with what they've been going through and everything that they've had to continue to overcome, and to put ourselves in position. It could have been real easy to fold in that third quarter when they broke it open. To put ourselves in position, to come back to compete to win a ball game. I mean, it's no matter what it happens, win or lose. The roots that this group is forming culturally, the roots that they're forming in terms of competitive spirit and what it means to compete at this level. I mean, those are what allow us to withstand these storms. And the numbers tell a story, but their hearts.
She provided crucial context, pointing out the immense and almost impossible challenge of integrating brand new point guards who have barely had a single practice with the team. This, she explained, is a primary source of the communication breakdowns. Players aren't just unsure of the plays. They are unsure of each other's tendencies and voices on the court. She also stressed a larger, more philosophical lesson the young team is struggling to learn: how to maintain a championship-level focus and attention to detail for a full 40 minutes, not just in promising stretches. For the players and the coaching staff internally, the focus remains on the intangible positives, the positive cultural roots they're forming, their undeniable competitive spirit, and their refusal to quit even when the scoreboard becomes demoralizing. Coach White passionately defended her team's heart, stating that they bust their ass in battle every single night, and that their character tells a deeper, more important story than the raw numbers on the scoreboard ever could. She sees a group that, despite being handed an impossible situation, continues to show up and fight.
What it happens, win or lose, the roots that this group is forming culturally, the roots that they're forming in terms of competitive spirit and what it means to compete at this level. I mean, those are what allow us to withstand these storms. And the numbers tell a story, but their hearts and their character,
which she believes is a true foundation of a future contender. But for a fan base watching the playoff clock tick down with every loss, this philosophical stance is becoming harder to accept. Patience is wearing dangerously thin. While the context of injuries is understood, they see the same flaws repeating themselves game after game, specifically the devastating third-quarter lows that have become a haunting pattern this season. They see a talented post player like Aaliyah Boston consistently stranded against multiple defenders with no schematic change to relieve the pressure. They see opponents' role players getting wide-open look after wide-open look because of slow defensive rotations that aren't corrected with timeouts or substitutions. The margin for error evaporated weeks ago, and now every loss isn't just a setback. It's a direct threat to the entire season's goal. The frustration isn't about losing with a depleted roster. It's about how they are losing, and the recurring feeling that strategic answers are arriving too late to change the outcome. The central, agonizing question remains: is it a roster too broken to fix, or is the coaching staff failing to find the necessary tactical solutions to stop the bleeding? And that is the terrifying reality of the situation now. The clock on this season is ticking, and every loss like this chips away at their already narrow playoff window. The Fever are still hanging on in 6th place, but the latest reports indicate they're only half a game ahead of 7th place, and just about 1.5 games clear of falling completely out of the playoff picture into 9th. That is the danger zone. This makes the upcoming rematch against Minnesota not just another game, but an absolute must-win. Dropping back-to-back games against the same team could easily erase their fragile cushion and send their season into a tailspin from which there might be no return. The urgency could not be more real. Every possession, every defensive stop, and every single minute of gameplay now carries the weight of the entire season. There is no longer room for slow starts or third-quarter lows. This team must find a way to play a complete 40-minute game with a roster that is being rewritten by the hour. The front office and the coaching staff are faced with an impossible puzzle, scrambling to find solutions with pieces that keep getting pulled away. How do you design offensive sets for players who just met days ago? How do you install a defensive game plan when your personnel changes between warm-ups and tip-off? This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about building chemistry and trust on the fly, a near impossible task in the most competitive league in the world. The weight of this impossible situation falls directly onto the shoulders of the remaining core players. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and now Lexi Hull are being asked to perform miracles night after night. They're logging career-high minutes, carrying unprecedented offensive loads, and then being asked to guard the other team's best players on the exhausted end of those marathon shifts. They are not just playing through fatigue. They are playing through a constant, grinding pressure that comes from knowing the entire franchise's playoff hopes are resting on their performance, all while watching their teammates fall around them. The emotional and physical toll of that burden is immense, and it's a testament to their character that they continue to battle. But the question is no longer about heart. It's about sustainability. How long can this small group continue to carry such an immense load before the sheer exhaustion guarantees the same devastating result? The margin for error is gone, and the clock isn't just ticking, it's screaming. In the end, Lexi Hull's career night gave everyone a reason to watch and a reason to hope. It showed a glimpse of what a deeper, healthier version of this roster could potentially achieve. Her 23 points, alongside Kelsey Mitchell's 27, and the steady efforts of Boston and Petty provided flashes of foundation that is worth believing in for the future. The cultural resilience the coach talked about is real. You can see it in the way they celebrate each other, in the MVP Kelsey shirts, and the fact that they didn't quit even when the third quarter implosion happened. But the NBA is a results business, and the results are screaming that it might not be enough. So now the question falls to you. Is this devastating loss on the coaching staff too slow to adjust to the relentless tides of the game? Or is this simply a roster too broken and battered by forces beyond anyone's control to be judged fairly? Tell me exactly what you think in the comments below. And if you believe in players like Lexi Hull who step up when the lights are brightest, show your support by typing Lexi Show, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the latest on this incredible story. The story isn't over yet.